We saw what happened to Claudine Gay. We saw what happened to the president of
Is that a
UPenn.
threat?
If the good people at the Ontario College of Psychologists think they're immune from such things,
So he's just threatening them now. he's, he's just straight up threatening them. Oh, you saw what happened to Claudine Gay. Who will be next? Who's a plagiarist among us? So yeah, if you didn't hear about this, Jordan Peterson basically had to take an online course. You could watch the whole other videos I've done on this. Just many. I've done lots of coverage. Okay, he basically a governing board, a medical governing board, should be able to revoke a medical license if your own activity and behavior is directly going to impact the very people who you're supposed to be sworn to protect and maintain their health. If you're not listening to what your field of discipline is basically what it's been advancing with discovering and learning and how best to help people in their mental health. If instead you're going to make people's mental health worse, if you're going to endanger people's mental health, if you're going to do things that have been demonstrated to contribute towards an atmosphere that can contribute towards people unaliving themselves, especially children, then yeah, you probably should not have the right to practice, in your particular field of study. That's what happened to Jordan Peterson. So all that's happened, again, the stakes are so low. This is not about free speech. This is not about him versus the Trudeau government. This is not about him versus the Board of Education or something like that. This is 100%. He doesn't practice psychology anymore. He's not a practicing psychologist. He doesn't have clients. He doesn't have a client list. But his behavior online is abhorrent, including harassing and stalking people who are part of marginalized communities and trying to vilify and dehumanize them, as well as suggesting that people unalive themselves when they were bringing up, having suicidal ideation or stuff like that. So the guy is clearly not fit to be practicing in his particular discipline. So the board was like, we're going to take away your license unless you take an online course. And he's like, pures woke moralists, we'll see who cancels who. And then they did the whole thing. And then the court ruled that, in fact, he does have to, the governing board has the right to reject his license if they so choose. He can't fight them on that respect. So now he has to decide, once again, do you take this online course and maintain your license, or do you lose your license? You still get to be doctor. He'll still be Dr. Jordan Peterson, and he actually won't lose any business or money, and he'll continue doing exactly what he's doing. He won't be able to keep promoting himself, though, I guess is the big thing, right?
the gloves are off as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, God.
Jordan Peterson vowing
My gloves are off.
back in August of 2023. Now he's vowing to do the same again. Hi, I'm Brian Lilly, political columnist for the Toronto Sun. That clip you saw, that was Jordan Peterson back on August 23rd, 2023. I spoke to him just after he had lost at the Ontario Superior Court of Justice in his challenge for judicial review of the Ontario College of Psychologists.
Oh, nice. He wore one of his many incredible suits. This one is his actual logo, the logo that he's got for Maps of Meaning. But he actually wears it in suit form, which is darling, I mean, sometimes I'll wear Serfs merch. He does the same thing.
Decision that he had to undergo social media re-education training. That's right. A college of professionals saying you have to undergo social media re-education because we don't like what you say. And it has nothing to do with your practice as a psychologist, but everything to
Actually, it does. It 100% is directly tied into his specific practice. Because again, this is something that if he was willing to even read a little bit of the DSM-5, which would be something that I would assume someone in his field would want to learn and explore when it came to a variety of topics, including trans people, something that he speaks out about. It's got to be one of his favorite topics, as it's very lucrative amongst the right wing kind of media class to talk about this shit all the time. So absolutely, yes. You could directly say this is related to his specific field and the way he's behaving. This isn't just him saying, fuck you, Trudeau. Because there are him being like, Trudeau. This isn't even him sending his millions of fans video footage of cock milking fetish porn, which he did, including his underage fans. They would have seen that too, of his millions of fans. Many of them may be between the ages of 13 and 17 online on the platform that he shared the cock milking fetish porn to. And in doing so, thinking that it was a Chinese communist breeding program, that's pretty fucked up behavior. But again, that's not what this was about. This was specifically about how he was targeting trans people online, that he was trying to, again, dehumanize trans people through a whole bunch of very horrifying language, and also suggesting that people kill themselves. And for someone in his field, you could say that this is directly related to, yes, his profession.
do with how you're acting politically. That's what this was all about. It's what it was always about. Jordan Peterson lost that case in August, said he would fight on to the Supreme Court if he could, but now the Ontario Court of Appeal has said no. They've dismissed the case without even giving any reasons. They've just said, we will not grant leave to.
Well, that's it. I think it's kind of self-explanatory. That they are rejecting his premise. That's all there is to it. They're just straight up like, no, this is incorrect. Yes, so the governing board does have the authority to license people, and they can use that authority to revoke a license should they choose. We're going to maintain that over his whatever he's considering his crusade. Yeah, we're going to go with the board on this one.
Appeal, we will not grant permission to present new evidence. So the court case is essentially done now. He can't go to the Supreme Court. He can't go any further in a judicial process. Now, Peterson was clear when I spoke to him back in August that this was not just a fight for him, that this was a fight for everyone who has these sorts of colleges for...
Sorry, I thought this was new. Finally, he had spoken about this, but it's not. Let's see. Jordan Peterson. Oh, he did just post as of 15 minutes ago. Nice. A interview with, you'll never guess, Michaela Peterson, called "My Clinical License is Good as Gone." Oh God, what have they done?
Hey, Dad.
Hey,
Ooh,
Mick.
Jordan, you don't look like
Fancy
you've been
meeting
sleeping
you
much.
here.
Yeah.
Have you been drinking the old apple cider? Have you been hitting the cider in the interim? Oh my.
Fancy seeing you here,
Oh
too.
God, here we go.
Well, this might not be the most fun conversation, but I thought before we delve into how awful this is, I thought I could just read a brief background I wrote about what's been going on so people are caught up to speed. Is that okay?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, so you've already had the background. You know what's up.
I take pretty much all my attention, and having to fight this war, well, it's tiring. You know, I have to plot, strategize, write, watch my tongue, consider my next best move. And I also have to face the dismal reality that, as I wrote in the National Post, in Canada's National Post this week, that in some real fundamental sense, Canada's Charter of Rights isn't worth the paper it's written on. And like
this doesn't affect all Canadians. I know you tried to go for a Charter of Rights and Freedoms thing here. This is a governing board that provides licenses to practice medicine, of which the board should exist. Yeah, yes. I don't think you have a fundamental right, just an inherent right as a Canadian, and it is an infringement upon your civil rights, your civil liberties, that you should just be able to practice medicine on anyone you so choose for profit. Like, hey, by the way, if your friend is dying before you, yeah, of course you can perform medicine on them to try and save them. You can't profit from this. You can't, like, put ads on Craigslist, be like, hey, are you having, like, lots of medical costs? Did you want to make lots of money and save lots of money? Hey, come over to me. I'm a doctor for sure. Not licensed. Unlicensed, but hey, I'll do whatever you need. I'll YouTube it. I'll Google it. We'll get this done. You need a surgery. Come on by. Just check it out.
likely professionals in this country can say goodbye to their right to express themselves, politically or otherwise, politically or professionally. Like, I don't think that my tweets, some of my tweets were political in a sense, in that I was criticizing certain government figures, councilmen.
So, by the way, you can actually look at the actual complaints that were levied and some of the tweets that were brought into question. And like in a lot of cases, it's Jordan Peterson just absolutely obsessed with Elliot Page's abs. And like, you know, he just couldn't stop talking about them. He was just bringing them up all the time. And like, oh God, yeah, what butcher has done this? What doctor? I must involve myself in the butcher. Like, and then made that giant video. He made like a whole video about this. Like, he, zer, yeah, we'll see who cancels who. Like, infinitely memeable. It's obviously been hilarious laughing at all the different memes and versions of it at the end of the day. But like that's again, it's not behavior becoming of someone who has basically, you're supposed to help people's mental health. Why does it seem like your mental health is negatively impacted by the existence of other people? That seems to be a problem here, no?
Trudeau's former chief of staff and It's actually one of my...
Oh, so he keeps trying to make this into something grandiose. Like, this is actually about the government coming after me. And maybe it's just because I was making fun of or criticizing Justin Trudeau. That's what they're upset about. Again, like, look at the tweets that people brought up. One of the tweets was about you saying that maybe you should leave this earth to someone who's having an argument with you. Another one of the tweets is you being incredibly transphobic to Elliot Page. Another tweet is you being, again, incredibly transphobic to Elliot Page. Again, just being a weird-ass bigot. These are the tweets that people, specifically took out. It's not the Trudeau. This has nothing to do with the government of Canada.
The fact that the college accepted a complaint that was the entire transcript of my 3-hour discussion with Joe Rogan pretty much says it all. And by the way, on the climate front, just so that everyone is crystal clear about this, I think the climate models that are used to justify the encroaching tyranny planned by the WF are 100% untrustworthy. And I think that the notion that we should let people terrify us to death with notions of an impending climate apocalypse so that we have to be locked down in every possible manner, give up.
Yeah, he never used to be a massive oil apologist. That was not his thing. Like, he was a lot of shit, but it wasn't like always like oil apologist. He basically had a couple of responses in one interview that he was giving a lecture at where it kind of sounded like he was flirting with the idea of it. And I guess he just got a lot of backlash from that when people are like, wait, this is supposed to be like one of the greatest thinkers on the right. The guy doesn't even understand the very basic concepts of climate change. Like, he's basically trying to refute like what you learn in grade 7 here. Just clearly laughable. Like, no one takes him seriously. Is he being serious? Then I guess his ego was bruised. He went worse and worse. Like, all of a sudden you saw more and more of him doing interviews being like, oh yeah, and we're supposed to believe an impending climate catastrophe in some way is going to be remedied by us not mass producing more food. The world needs food, and yet they want the children to starve in order to apparently save the climate. And you're like, what the fuck are you talking? No one is proposing that the solution to climate change is to starve children. This is just utterly bizarre now. He's on something though. He's definitely changed his tune on that. Again, not what this is about. Not why you're losing your license if you don't take an online course about your behavior towards minorities.
For automobiles, give up our flights, private or otherwise, give up our right to buy clothing, give up our right to eat, give up our right to keep grandma warm or cool in the summer, let's say. It's like, no. Sorry, no, wrong in every possible way. And more people are waking up to that realization. You know, some of these tweets are now 2 years old.
You know.
I think they've aged remarkably well, personally. And so...
I feel if you were the governing board watching this right now, because this is his first video that he's put out on this topic since, being rejected by the courts. Like, so now it's come down to, so do you think this motherfucker is interested in change? Do you think he's interested in changing? Does this sound like a repentant man who deeply, deeply cares about his medical license and being able to practice medicine? Which, by the way, he doesn't anymore at all. Like, he doesn't have clients. He doesn't have a client list. Like, why does he need his license? Why does he care so much? Why is he like, oh God, this is tyranny of the highest order. I won't be able to do a thing I'm not already doing.
I don't see where the crime is here, man. I think the crime would have been holding my tongue. So, and you asked me how I'm doing. It's like, this didn't really come as a surprise. So I'd already prepared for it. And as you and I spoke about last night, and I've talked over with Tammy too, and with Julian, my son, for, to some degree, we're going to see what good we can make arise from this. And if this is my opportunity...
No, that's not new. You have been trying to churn this into an outrage factory for a while now, sir. Yeah, anyone who's giving you the time of day, you'll sit down and bloody hell, you'll tell them all about how the Canadian system is fucking you over, that Trudeau hates you, this is a war on freedom of speech, and how the tyrannical communist government of Canada is trying to silence you. And you'll have people who echo these sentiments, like, uncritically, too. Like, just all of a sudden, like, yeah, it's fucked up, what they're doing in Canada. Apparently the authoritarian communist regime of Justin Trudeau was going after Jordan Peterson, silencing what he's allowed to say publicly. No, none of that's true. Why did you all uncritically buy into all of his lies? He's lying to all of you. That's not what happened. Like, honestly, this is 100% just a medical board that is like, we no longer want to certify you and give you the ability to practice medicine unless you want to take this online course to stop being a dick. Stop being a dick to, again, the very people who you're supposed to protect, people who may have mental health issues. You shouldn't be able to threaten them and suggest they unalive themselves. You shouldn't have the ability to do that. So if you want to do that, you should take a course so you can learn why it's bad. That's it. It's 100% fraud. Yeah.
Further expose the machinations of the radical left, narcissistic, resentful, woke mob, then
Not at all. Not, again, just certifying board has no greater schemes. This is not the Illuminati. This is not the Davos group. You know, not the Bilderbergs. Not any incredible world globalist power of elites coming. Again, licensing for practice that he no longer does.
bring it on, boys.
Whoa.
We saw what happened to Claudine Gay. We saw what happened to the president of UPenn.
Is that a threat?
If the good people at the Ontario College of Psychologists think they're immune from such things.
So he's just threatening them now. He's just straight up threatening them. Oh, you saw what happened to Claudine Gay. Who will be next? Who's a plagiarist among us? In our midst, we'll see who plagiarizes who. This is a licensing board for you to practice or not practice medicine based again on whether or not you take an online course, sir. My word. All right. Well, yeah, shots fired. Shots fired. Jordan's coming for you. You are the woke moralists.
They have another thing coming. So, you know, and maybe I'm wrong. I'm not wrong about the damn tweets. You know, I might be wrong about how this is going to unfold. But even there, the worst thing they can do to me is take my license. Now, they're definitely planning to do that because the rule is I have to be educated by people of their choice at my expense for whatever length of time they deem suitable.
Amazing.
Until, by their standards, I've learned whatever the hell lesson I'm supposed to learn. And I can't even imagine what that lesson would be. It's like, what?
I've learned nothing from any of you. Like, yeah, no, I know. I know. It's one thing to be unrepentant. It's another thing to be like, I have listened to absolutely none of your feedback. I have no idea what the opposing argument is or why I did something bad. But I will tell you this, I will never, ever learn. I refuse. I refuse.
Don't tweet. Don't speak. Don't think.
Oh, come on. That, like, of your own, like, admonition. Like, Jordan Peterson came forward and did this whole, like, I'm gonna have to take some time away and not actually be on Twitter right now because it's getting too... I'm a bad boy. I get it. My family has been like, you've been posting the cock-milking fetish porn and saying that it was a Chinese communist breeding program. It's gonna hurt us in the long run if you don't rein this in. But he listened to no one. He learned nothing. He refuses. He is defiant, and he has made it that his family needs to know that this is who he is, and he will continue to be like this.
Don't tell my clients the truth. So I don't know how to learn that lesson. I don't know how they're going to measure whether or not I've learned it. I don't know who they're going to get to measure it. I have no idea who they're going to get to teach me. I guess we're going to find out. I would like to find out. I'm very curious about that person. And so I'm set up for failure, and, you know, my detractors will say, well, Dr. Peterson, you set yourself up for failure.
What clients, the imaginary ones that he could, I mean, they're theoretical clients, future clients, you know, precog clients of a potential later date. And if they decide to, he can decide whether or not he wants to take them on, which he doesn't because he makes so much fucking money with his other job. He doesn't do this professionally anymore. This is not his job. He likes to reference it so people could be like, so noted psychologist, Dr. Jordan B. Peterson. You could still be said that. You just don't get to say, and I'm currently licensed to practice. You don't get to add that second bit if they take it away. Everything else remains, though. Anyone could say, like, you know, noted psychologist of note, Dr. Jordan B. They can still say this, who is not currently licensed to practice in his field. That's the second part.
You know, whatever. But
oh, God.
Those are hard licenses to get, and I worked very hard to earn and deserve that license and to maintain it. And also very hard at being a good therapist.
Well, no, but you don't want to maintain it because you're being asked to maintain it, right? This is part of the maintaining process. If you would like to maintain your license, you now have to take a course in order to learn about your online behavior. Oh, bloody hell, the tyranny. I refuse. I refuse to take a course of their choosing.
Therapist, which I was, there were no complaints taken against me by anyone until I became known in the public sphere, you know, so that's a good thing to consider. And I'm not that happy about the prospect of the woke Beatles that you described having their way with my professional credentials. It annoys me deeply. Now, on the other hand,
I love that he's such an unpleasant person. He's such an unpleasant old man. You know, someone who, like, normally you'd want to do the right thing. You know, it's like, hey, can you go help your elderly old neighbor? But mom, I don't want to clean the driveway. Go do it. Come on. He's having a really hard time. He's getting old. You know, his wife left him because of all his views on trans people. Just go say hi, okay? Just swing by there and say hi. And you get there and he's like, oh, bloody hell, you woke moralist coming by here. We'll see what snow shovels what who. And then you're like, I don't want to be here though. I don't want to pay. Like, this guy sucks. He's terrible.
I'm not dependent on that license anymore. I have other tricks up my sleeve, so to
Yeah, we all know this. Again, no stakes. No, like, oh, I don't even need these licenses. Yeah, I know. Again, there's no stakes here. It's just you being a stubborn narcissist, a dick of the highest order. It's like, hey, could you stop being an asshole to people who already have hard lives and are already being treated unfairly by society? Could you stop going after those people individually? Could you stop doing that and making their lives infinitely worse by your pseudoscientific, ahistorical nonsense that you spew? All of this stuff, this dreck, it's really bad. It genuinely harms people in society. Just please calm the fuck down and do something else with your massive platform and audience.
Speak anyways. And at some point, I'm going to determine that being a member of their pathetic little incestuous, ideologically addled, resentment-ridden, bureaucratic, pea-brained, micro-souled club is not worth the effort. And I suppose we're probably there already, but I have something to do publicly, you know, in my delusion. And like I said, maybe I'm wrong and I should just shut the hell up and pack up and go home. But my sense...
I love microsoul. It's the first new expression I've heard.
These bloody colleges, regulatory boards, they pose a major threat to the free speech and free...
I mean, it's kind of like you're basically calling someone out for not having a soul, but it's like the microaggression version of that. You know, it's like you're definitely doing something in which it's probably going to be something that someone notices that others them or makes them feel bad or makes them feel different in society. And in this case, you're doing that, and he's not going full into it. You know, he's not being a full racist. He's not saying that you're soulless, but he is saying that you have a small soul, a microsoul, if you will. What happens? Is that because can you sell part of your soul? Can you sell a portion of your soul and can be like, yes, I'll make a deal with the devil, but halfsies, half off. Like you get half the soul, but I want the other half. So I don't care if I have a micro soul. Okay, it's a teenier soul than most, but I still have some soul. Okay.
We thought of all Canadians, not just professionals. Canadians.
Yeah, a fungible soul.
What sort of professional consultation are you going to?
Well, it would seem like, you know,
biological sex.
I think if you were to poll, the majority of people would say that they prefer doctors and people who practice medicine in a variety of fields to be licensed and have licensing boards. Yes, absolutely. Insofar that people cannot simply profit off unlicensed medicine.
There is no lie you won't swallow. And that's why we're being tempted with that particular proposition, because the I believe, is
also
bring
grandiose
disgrace to those who levy that epithet. It'll just undermine the validity of the designation itself. It'll undermine public trust in the idea of psychologists.
Well, I'm glad that you were capable of identifying this part. This part's key, because that's what you were trying to do. This is literally Jordan Peterson's entire, like, this is why it's good that there's checks and balances and different boards that are in charge of this, as well as, like, courts that are willing to say, oh no, we categorically reject your premise. We reject your premise, that they should have the ability to determine whether or not you should be licensed. And then insofar as all you're being asked to do is take a small course about your online behavior, yeah, no, this is absolutely ridiculous. Like, you're being the biggest brat right now. You can't be like, you know, an enormous brat, a petulant child, if you will, and then be like, oh, I refuse, no, you can't do this to me, the woke moralists. It's like, they can, though. Yes, and I'm sorry, you have no case.
In the reliability.
This is not a violation of your freedoms.
I think I know it.
Whether you're feeling stressed, anxious, or simply seeking a moment of peace and tranquility, the Hallow app has something for you.
Wait, what just happened? Is this an ad? Did he know that was he in the middle of a cold read? Hold on.
It appears if I am careful and state the truth. I firmly believe that. I don't even think I believe it. I think I know it.
Whether you're feeling stressed.
Okay, so I get it. So obviously, you know, Michaela Peterson and Jordan Peterson, they have massive channels. Michaela Peterson has really, you know, done a number managing and overseeing a lot of these projects. And I guess a part of it, yeah, they're going to get advertisement sponsors. And then they didn't want to do a whole, okay, so Dad, can you just stop for 2 seconds? We got to talk about today's sponsor, Hallow. This is a great app. It really helps out. They just want to jump right towards this, but really bad placement for this specific ad. I don't know if I want mental health, like, help from an app that would decide and choose of all times to advertise here. couldn't be a more inappropriate, like, a brand dissociation between what is being discussed as a topic and what is happening and what I want to achieve by using your app. Like, both, ooh, yikes. No, sorry. Doesn't sound great.
Thing about lose you your career.
Researcher, by the way.
It's a Catholic app. Oh, okay. So wait, it's saying it's for mental health. Hallow app. The #1 Catholic meditation, prayer, and sleep app. Also, it's not actually about mental health. It's about prayer. Pray every day on Hallow, the #1 prayer app in the world. Interesting how they worded that, though. Yeah, you find peace, then you pray your way, and then it builds a habit, and so you can do it more often. Pray with your favorite voices. You can pray with St. Pope John Paul II and Mother Teresa. Did they record for this Hallow app, or what's going on here? Was Mother Teresa, like, aware of this? Discover the saints. Oh, so they're just going to have representation. Gotcha. Okay, fair enough. No, thank you. I am okay.
It's what that's about you is supposed to happen, right? So if you're preoccupied, well, that's not good. And plus, you'll make a mistake, especially if people are talking to you about really important things. And then also, I have to have free time outside of my practice to take phone calls and so forth, and to drop everything at the drop.
You don't have clients. What are you talking about?
And where Canada is going is not good. It might already be that where Canada is not good. The biggest fear I have right now for the country is that Trudeau will hang on for another year, because getting rid of that man is like trying to get a fly out of sticky paper. Yeah, with all the mess that would entail.
Wait, you're unironically loving this? It's funny because Trudeau is getting us into a lot of trouble with some of his policies. So I guess, yeah, it is an apt comparison.
And then Pierre Poilievre will be elected. And then we'll find out just how bad things are. And that'll be dumped on his shoulders. And his government will fail because of.
Okay, so his worst fear is, like, starting out with some pretty, like, not surprising, not very, like, it doesn't take an expert to tell you right now. If you were to look at polling data in Canada, there's a very low chance of Justin Trudeau winning the next election. So yes, most likely it will be, at the very least, a conservative minority in this country led by Pierre Poilievre. And Pierre is going to probably get a majority if the current polling data is correct. But his worry is that everything is so horrifyingly bad that it isn't bad yet. Like, it hasn't happened yet. It's coming. It is the, like, dystopian, communist, horrifying reality that is Justin Trudeau's basically authoritarian fascist nightmare come to life. That'll happen right after he's out of power. But then everyone will blame that on the conservatives who will come into power and fuck everything up. And so everyone will be like, whoa, all these right-wing, far-right conservative policies, they're really fucking up the country. But then he'll be like, oh God, no, you don't realize this was Justin Trudeau all along. He's been setting this all up. Oh God, no, what have we done? Like, that's when he's generally expressing this as a worry and fear of something that's about to happen.
The cataclysm that he's inherited, the conservatives will have a one-term shot at it, and then, like, Mark Carney will be the new Prime Minister of Canada.
All right. Closing remarks. Come on, Jordan.
They're doing well. You're doing well. Julian's thriving. I'm not 98% dead. So, that's a good thing.
What?
So the college thing is a bump in the road in some real way, and also an opportunity. It's an opportunity. It's an annoying opportunity. Well, it is an annoying opportunity, but I'm doing my best to be grateful for it too.
Okay, so long story short, he's launching his own school. There is Jordan Peterson University, not accredited in any way, shape, or form. He's been clear on that, and he doesn't want accreditation because obviously that's just like what the woke moralists would want. But his school is going to concentrate primarily on people who are incredibly intelligent, super high IQ, who are willing to give him money, and then he's going to threaten basically employers. He'd be like, oh God, they'd have to take you. I mean, if they didn't, they weren't willing to listen to some of the greatest experts in their field, people like Brett Weinstein and Sam Harris and everyone else we're going to hire and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, that's not how the system works. You can't just sell courses online. I mean, Andrew Tate has shown this and then have that course be recognized by some kind of third party as being legitimate. You can't like walk into a job interview and be like, oh yes, I went to both Trump University and also this online Discord run by Andrew Tate. Yes, the pedophile rapist, allegedly human trafficker. So that guy. So yeah, I've gone both their courses, finished them. I graduated with flying colors, and I'm ready now to participate in this job. Like, you can't do that. But part of this is I guess they're going to position this as well as like, well, Jordan Peterson rejected the woke ideology of the governing board of psychologists in Canada and defied Justin Trudeau's communist nightmare in order to be able to bring you the greatest course, unwokeified course in human history. And then you're all gonna have to go buy it.
Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Can you please hit the like and subscribe button and maybe leave a comment? It really does help the videos out. But first, the people who produce everything you see before you and make this entire channel possible: Amazing Fletch, Anna Loves Riley, Ariane McCarthy, Cheryl Alvarez, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Hagbard Celine, Multimondi, Omni, Peanut Butter Blondie, Political Puppy, Quiet 185, Rachel K, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Ruby K, Cernicus, Spinach Monster, Stellar Vision, Sebastian DeMel, Trevbot.exe, Words Greenwood, and Travis McClinton. And also, thank you to every other person who helps fund this show. Their names are on the screen right now. It would not be possible without every single one of them. We cannot thank you enough. And if you want to join the Patreon, please come to patreon.com/theserfs and help us exist.